Hello and welcome back to another episode of The Truth Unspoken. I'm your host, Gabriel Babin, and more information, more things keep coming out. The scriptures say what's done in dark will come to the light. So the last episode we showed a leaked video of Disney and their plans and their objective of infiltrating our children through one of many avenues. But before we get into the next content, please hit the like button, comment, share, subscribe, do all of those things so we can get this word out. Me and Justin, we took a trip to the East Coast last week.
Yep.
Did another show with Kyle and Bernie, and very grateful to those guys, and actually met somebody else on the Board of Education, which there's an important meeting coming up on the 15th with the board and parents, because listen to this, a new situation that's arising is what happened was there was a student. This is happening in Connecticut, I believe Hartford, Connecticut. There was
Everywhere.
Yeah, but this is the one that I know of that the guy on the Board of Education shared with us, was that there was a student that had been receiving puberty blockers
Yep.
from school, from the nurse at school. And when the parent did not know, of course, and when the mother took the child, it was a girl, when the mother took the child to her primary doctor, the primary doctor asked if there was anything that had been, has she been taking anything, and of course the mother didn't know that this was happening, and it's just so sad.
Shameful.
Yeah, it's very shameful. And so she answered no, of course, and then I don't know the details of what was given to her by her doctor, but whatever he prescribed or whatever he gave to her, it put her in a coma, right, for like 2 weeks. And so the mother's now suing the school board
Right.
because this is another episode, another incident of parents not knowing what's going on, and schools taking the liberty. Now he also shared with me, and I'm on our next podcast. I'm gonna get more into this. Actually, I'm waiting for the 15th because he wants to have a conversation. So he may be coming on the show to give more information and the details of what took place about this whole incident. But a child was harmed. A child was comatose because of this theory of, hey, let's do things to the children and not tell the parents.
Yep.
Right?
Yep.
So now here's that child could have died. That child could have lost her life because the parent was uninformed on injections that her child was receiving at school. And so their actual school board presented a list of options, but it was all in confusion talk, right?
Yep.
But what it boiled down to it was something that was being submitted to where they were saying that the children can get everything they need from the school nurse. So now giving the school nurse the ability to write prescriptions, giving the school nurse to the ability and permission to diagnose medical situations, mental and physically. And pretty much it was a whole list of things, and I was just looking at the list going, this can't be serious. But yes, it is very serious. But it was a school board that submitted it to the schools for voting on these subjects, saying, hey, and then also saying that the children no longer need a primary doctor, that they can get everything they need. And then there's even a phone number to where you can call the school nurse and get everything you need: prescriptions, diagnosis, medical treatment, psychological treatment, everything, meaning you don't even need to take your kids to the doctors anymore. They can get it all at school. Yeah. So when did school become a hospital?
Yeah.
School is for education. But see, these people, they, like on the last episode, Roberts, no one tried to stop me and no one's going to stop me. She's not the only one that feels that way.
Yeah.
And that's how these people feel and think. That's why it is very crucial for this next coming semester that we organize ourselves, we unify ourselves. We got to understand this is not a political channel. This is not a conspiracy channel. This is not a religious channel. This is a truth channel. Yep. And a unifying channel. The whole point of me doing this is to create unity between parents and adults that love children and want and feel that God has put them here to protect our children. So we need to make sure that that is clear and understood. That's all this is about. And exposing those wicked people, evil people, treacherous people, betrayers of trust. Yep. That's what they are. We take our kids to school. We trust these adults to be teaching our children how to become fruitful, how to become successful in life, not to confuse them, not to deceive them, not to lead them astray, which that's what they're doing. Exactly. We have directors creating more content that does what? Excludes the parents. We must understand. This is not just happening over there and happening. This is happening in our own backyard. You today can go to your child's school, public school, wherever you're at. You can go to your child's public school library and find pornographic, detailed books that your second grader, first grader, third grader, fourth grader, fifth grader, sixth grader, all the way up to high school can go check out while they're at school and read it and have those thoughts and seeds implanted in them. As well as psychiatrists and psychologists are showing up on their screens. Now almost all public schools, the kids have iPads, they have computers. So that is another way that they're infiltrating our children is during school hours, which we've showed these things. Yeah. We've showed leaked videos and interviews. And all of that is to what? Remove you, remove me from being aware of what they're doing, from seeing, hearing, and knowing what they're doing.
Yeah. Yeah. They're not our children anyways.
Yeah. Like Celine Dion says, the children don't belong to us. They belong to these evil, wicked people that we trusted, that we're trusting. Now, I'm not saying that all teachers, majority of the good teachers are quitting. They're leaving because of what's happening. We even showed the interview with Fox News with a teacher that came out and is suing because she's being forced to exclude the parents and push this transgender, sick, twisted, deranged, insane agenda backed by money. I just talked to another elder the other day that is waiting for surgery and has been waiting for surgery and cannot get on the list and has insurance. And guess what? There are transgender surgeries taking place every day and being approved within 30 minutes. That came from a live testimony of Chloe. Yeah. She was diagnosed, and the insurance company permitted and what's the word? They approved and authorized for her to get the surgery the next week within 30 minutes. Yeah. So that shows what's really going on. And so guess here we go again. We're in the medical system. Yeah. We're in the entertainment system. See, that's why it's so good to have live testimonies, because when you have live testimonies, when you have a young woman amongst thousands of others that's before Congress begging for this agenda to be stopped and stop attacking the children and stop lying to the children as she was lied to, that's not a conspiracy. She was given hormone pills, hormone blockers, to alter her voice, to alter her features. She was given to cut off her breasts. That's not a conspiracy. She has to live the rest of her life. The young man that was with Candace Owens, he has to live the rest of his life mutilated with no hope And these doctors and these people know what they're doing.
Yes,
They know every diagnostic they give. They know every medication they subscribe is to help influence and walk a young person down a road of destruction and mutilization that they can never reverse.
never.
Ever. And they know it. And there's thousands of doctors. They even have doctors that aren't even educated and trained
Yeah.
in these type of surgeries. Right. We have an eye doctor. I don't want to say his name because
Right.
I don't want to put him out there, but
Right.
he's one of the top leading eye doctors in the world.
Sits on the board.
Yeah, he sits on the board. And they brought this up they're all eye doctors. So this isn't like a board of just doctors. No, they're all eye doctors. And two of the doctors were bringing up solutions and pathways to start doing transgender surgeries. And so our doctor said, wait, what do you mean? We're eye doctors. That's not our specialty. And they said, yeah, but it can become ours. We can easily transition in this. He removed himself from the board because of what this is this is for people that do surgery on your eyes. That's LASIK, right?
Right.
LASIK doesn't require scalpels, knives, syringes. You don't need all that for eye surgery. I had LASIK.
Yeah.
And it was a machine. It was him doing what he did, but he didn't have a knife in his hand.
Mm-mm.
He didn't have a scalpel in his hand. Well, those are the instruments you need to remove body parts. And so, anyways, we're going to get into more revealing testimony, right?
Yeah.
And then we're going to get into some stats to prove that we're not political. For those that are trying to label us and say we're this and that, no, we're just bringing out the truth. So we have stats to prove this has nothing to do with a political party. This has nothing to do with conspiracies. And this is outside of religion. It's just parents and what they took as a voting poll, right? On this subject of us being aware of what the children are being told and the discussions that are happening behind our backs, right? So let's go ahead and put up the first article, breaking down the exposing. Okay, Smoking Guns Docs, America First Legal confirms Utah Gender Clinic knew of deadly side effects and risk of permanent damage resulting from transgender drugs given to children, right?
Yeah.
So this is September last year. This came out, okay? Washington, D.C. today, America First Legal AFL released shocking documents obtained from the University of Utah Health Gender Management and Support Clinic regarding distributing transgender treatments being administered on minors. You see this? Once again, minors, our children, are the target. In June, AFL filed 5 public records requests with public gender clinics in Georgia, Iowa, Ohio, Utah, and Virginia to obtain records related to gender-affirming care, is what they call it. A euphemism for chemical castration and genital mutilization. There we go. You see that? Chemical castration. My God. The social contagion known as gender-affirming care involves prescribing puberty blockers and cross-sex hormones to children under 18, as well as using life-altering surgeries like mastectomies, vaginoplasty, phalloplasty, and metodoplasty to giving children the irreversible appearance, which is deception,
Yep.
of the opposite sex, right? So they cannot become they cannot be a functional opposition sex, but gives the irreversible appearance. Notably, many of these drugs are not FDA approved. Oh, wow. And their long-term effects are unknown. See, this is what doctors are not telling the children and the children's parents. Despite this, gender clinics across America continue to administer these life-altering drugs to minors, leading to infertility and even death. Last week, AFL obtained consent forms for the gender-affirming care services being offered to adolescents in Utah. See some of the shocking findings below. The University of Utah's feminizing therapy options admits that when biological males take estrogen, it could cause some permanent changes to the body, including chest growth and listing multiple variable lasting changes that remain unknown. Despite not knowing the reversibility of these drugs, the Utah Gender Clinic continues to administer them, and they're not the only clinic that's doing this.
Right.
Feminizing therapy options. Feminizing hormone therapy usually consists of estrogen taken as a daily or twice daily pill, or as a weekly patch or injection, plus the addition of an anti-androgen or a GnRH agonist to block the effects of testosterone in your body, which means to stop the natural process of the body. So all these things that they're administering is to stop what our bodies are. No, I'm not done. Yeah, right there. That are not created to do. Every person responds differently to hormone therapy, and every person will have different prescriptions based on their specific risk factors and metabolism, right? So guess what? God created us to be who we're supposed to be. Doses for adolescents are often much lower than adult doses due to differences in body size, body composition, and metabolism. Estrogens can cause some permanent and some reversible changes in your body, as described below. Now, let's take the screen down so they can see all the different variables, right? And then as you go down, it said, look, irreversible chest growth, reversible skin softening, decreased oilness, thinned, slowed terminal hair growth, decreased muscle mass strength, variable fat redistribution, variable decreased spontaneous arousals, decreased libido, decreased testicular volume, decreased sperm production, erectile dysfunction. Man. And then here it goes with the years, right? 3 to 6 months, 3 to 6 months, 3 to 6 months, 6 to 12 months. It just continues to go on.
Yeah.
Let's go down. What does it say about the blood? Oh, yeah, here's... Yeah, that's all right. All right, there we go. Scroll it up. There we go. The risk of feminizing therapy options are lengthy, including high blood pressure. Listen to these things. So this has nothing to do with your eating.
No.
Or exercise or taking care of yourself. This is solely on going to these doctors and what will happen when you go through with these transgender options. Include high blood pressure, blood clots, heart disease, diabetes, liver and kidney disease, non-cancerous tumors of the pituitary gland, gallstones, breast cancer, headaches and migraines, and loss of fertility. Does this sound like a happy ending? Does this sound like everything is going to be so great once you go through this? No. This is what the doctors are not telling people. This is what the psychiatrists, this is what the psychologists are not telling parents and children.
Wow.
Additionally, the risks include irreversible breast growth, which we heard that one, despite the fact that the transgender activists have long berated the public about how these treatments are reversible. No, they are not. Lies and deception. Okay, so we're gonna, that's real small. Go up. Yeah, there we go. Contradictions. You should not use estrogen if you have a history of high blood clots, have migraines with aurora, or have an estrogen-dependent cancer. Use with caution. Family history of estrogen-dependent cancers if you are smoking, are obese, or have heart disease, high cholesterol, liver or kidney diseases, seizures, or diabetes. See, this is all horrible.
Yeah.
Nothing on this says you're going to be happy and you're going to be proud and you're going to be a full, confident opposite sex. No, you're not. These are the realities. These are the medically proven things against the deception and the lies that are being told to our young children behind our parents' backs and to confuse parents that don't know what to do. You definitely don't want to go to these people, and they're at schools, they're in Disney, they're in doctors, they're everywhere you go. They're talking about it. Let's finish reading it up. Estrogen other considerations. Estrogen prescription requires a letter of support from a mental health professional.
That's easy to get.
Right. You notice that? So you can't get the estrogen unless you go to a psychologist or a psychiatrist. You have to go to a mental health professional to give you something for your body. Why are they saying that someone that's supposed to be dealing with mental issues given a prescription having to do with your body? Use of estrogen for gender-affirming hormone therapy is not FDA approved, which we said before. There may be long-term risks that are currently unknown. Notice this, so they're letting us know. Studies are showing when you go down this process, these are the things that they know that are going to happen, but also there's still other things coming that are unknown.
Yep.
And the FDA has not approved these therapies. So how are doctors prescribing these things?
Yeah.
How are they prescribing it without the FDA approving it? How are we as parents even considering letting our children do this when the FDA hasn't even approved it because the variables are unknown and irreversible? There may be long-term risks that are currently unknown. My God, that should be frightening people.
Yeah.
This should be very eye-opening and scary.
And they're not telling people this.
These are all the things that they're not saying.
Yep.
That's why we're here exposing the truth.
Yep.
Because of the risks associated with estrogen use, your provider will be checking labs every 3 months for the first year of being on estrogen, and then every 6 months on a stable dose until adulthood. Estrogen is associated with increased risk of high blood pressure, blood clots, heart disease, diabetes. It's just endless. My God, man. It is strongly advised not to take more medication than is prescribed to you. Taking more medication than prescribed will not lead to a faster or increase. So the regular dose, you already read all the list above. That's what you get with the regular dose. You don't want to find out what happens when you take more. It will not lead to a faster increased feminization. This is for men that want to take estrogen, or this is for them deceiving little boys, giving them estrogen, and will increase your risk of adverse side effects, including abnormal breast shape. Feminizing medications will result in changes that will be noticeable to other people, right? And some transgender people in similar circumstances have experienced harassment, discrimination, and violence, while others have lost support of loved ones. So here's the reality of those that go down this path of being led down this path and confused. We also gave testimonies of others that went down this path and reversed it
Yeah.
and wanted to reverse it.
With no support from.
Yep, with no support. All right, let's go to the. Now we're gonna go to. We wanna shed light on the Parents' Bill of Rights, right?
Right.
And this is
Stats first.
yeah, we'll do the stats first, and then we're gonna show how parents can go to email and sign up to show what your support and what your view is concerning having. Do you want to be made aware, right? Okay, the polling is very clear. According to recent polling, it seems that Californians are largely in agreement on these important issues. 68% of California voters support schools notifying parents of kids wanting to socially transition at school. It's almost 70%. Do you support or oppose schools notifying parents if their child identifies or requests to be identified or treated as a gender that doesn't align with their biological sex? So, in support, now we're gonna show the political side, right? So this matters not if you're Republican, Democrat, or Independent, right? This is, do you want your child? This is not your political view. This is, do you want the schools notifying you about what's going on with your child and what your child is saying and what your child is doing and what they're saying to your children? Now, 72% of Republicans said yes, 65% of Democrats said yes, and independents and others, 71% said yes. 19% of Republicans said no, 27% of Democrats said no, and 23% independent or others said no. And then the confused people that are not sure, 9% of Republicans said, I'm not sure. 8% of Democrats said, I'm not sure. And 6% of independent. So you notice how the numbers get lower and lower. So majority of parents. And I think that if we did this nationwide, it would be similar to the stats. Yeah, probably higher.
California.
Yeah, that's California. So guess what? Almost 70%. That means only 32% are opposed to that. And we gotta break down. We need to find out how many of those parents are actual transgender parents or gay parents that are opposing, right? And so let's bring up the
We got more stats.
Oh, we got more stats? Okay, let's okay. 64% of California voters agree student athletes should only play on sports teams matching their biological sex. Common sense, right? Do you think transgender athletes like these so-called boys that never couldn't even make the team are becoming champions against the girls?
Yep.
That's what's happening. You have boys that can't even make the team because they don't have what it takes, or they don't work hard enough, and they're going to the girls and blowing out the women's sports and becoming champions and medalists. That's insane. Okay. Only play on teams that match birth gender. 93% of Republicans said yes. 48% of Democrats said yes. And 67%, now this is California, 67% of independents said yes. Okay? Yep, there you go. Way more than half. Able to play on teams that match identity. 6% of Republicans said yes. 47% of Democrats said yes. And 28% of independents said yes. No opinion, unsure. Republicans 1%, Democrats 5%. So the lowest, very few people are unsure about that or don't want to comment on it. Well, we're commenting on it and we're exposing. Now bring up the website that they can.
One more, that's good too.
Okay, let's bring it up now. Okay, so there we go. 75% of California voters agree minors should be protected from puberty blockers, amen, cross-sex hormones, and transgender surgeries. There we go. But yet, they made it a law in California against 72%. How did that get across to where these children at 12-year-old can get these surgeries without their parental consent when 70%, 75% of voters said no?
Yeah.
How can that happen? Think about that. If 75% of voters said minors should not be able to take these things, how did that law get through that minors can?
Yeah. It's wild, man.
So only be allowed for people over 18 years old. 89% of Republicans said yes. 67% of Democrats said yes. 77% of independents said yes.
Yep.
Allowed for minors. 11% Republicans said yes. 33% Democrats said yes. And 23% independents said yes. Which we have to add. We have to think with a little sense. How many of those people that said yes, or said yes to let the minors do that, how many of those are gays and transgenders and transvestites themselves, right? So let's put up our, there we go.
This is the form that
Okay, this is the form that I support the Parents' Bill of Rights. You can, is there a website?
yeah, it's going to be in our description below.
Okay. So afterwards, you can go into our description and you can find the website to where all the parents, you can add your email, add my name, and then share the petition, right?
Yep.
That's what we want to do. I want the Parents' Bill of Rights to support my children, me knowing everything that's going on. The Bill of Rights to be passed in my school district. Yep. Share that, please. So, also, let's put up our website, studentstayhome.com. Please go to our website, put your email in, sign up for the Demand Change Student Inaugural Stay Home. This is in support of us, our parents, as having our rights to our children that we gave birth to, that God has put us as stewards over these children's lives and responsibility on how we're supposed to lead them. And so remember, the week we're shooting for. Now remember, we just get 1,000. If we just get 1,000 students to stay home for the week, that's $250,000 for the week that those districts lose.
Yeah.
So let's push it. I'm hoping for at least 100,000.
Yeah, 100,000 is a goal, yeah, for sure.
Because I think at 10,000 is 5 million, right?
I think the 100,000 is 5 million.
No, the 100,000 is more than 5 million. I think, yeah. Right? Yeah, because 10,000,
right.
10,000 5 million. 100,000 50 million. That's my goal, is get 100,000. If we can get 100,000, $50 million of state budgeting, hey, guess what? They will have to pay attention to us. And they understand that we're demanding change and we're demanding our parental rights back. And you have no right to talk to our children about anything without our consent. And behind our backs without us knowing. Because that's the only way they're able to push this. Right? So, yep. Let's end with some scripture. See, the scripture is to bring life to the time frame, right? These were written thousands of years ago, but yet they're showing and exposing everything that's happening today. Right? Okay, so Proverbs 6:20 through 23 says, "My son, keep your father's God-given commandment and forsake not the law of God your mother taught you." Now, see, this is our responsibility as parents, right? And the evidence of that is the little boy that we showed that got shot by the police officer. See, he had God's commandments inside of him. That's why he began to sing and praise God with a bullet that blew through his chest. And he wasn't panicking. He wasn't crying. He had blood coming out of his mouth. And what else was coming out of his mouth was singing to God. Mm-hmm. That you can't get any more powerful than that. No. And it says, bind them continually upon your heart and tie them about your neck. See, this is what us as parents must do, because when our children have that, even a gunshot can't kill them, can't stop them. Mm-hmm. Because you know why? He was secure in who God created him to be. That was powerful enough to stop death. Mm-hmm. True. To stop panic, to stop fear. He didn't have any of those things. Because he had this inside of him, this security of who God is, and it fastened around his neck. He said, when you go, the words of your parents, God, shall lead you. When you sleep, they shall keep you. And when you waken, they shall talk with you. See, that little boy, when the newscaster said, the doctor saved your life, he said, no, sir. He said, God saved my life, right? Yeah. So, accredited to his mother for putting God inside of him. So when he goes to sleep, he knows that God is with him. When he goes to school, he knows that God is with him. When he took a shot through his chest, he knew God was with him. Yep. And everything. Mm-hmm. So their agenda is to confuse that. Our job is to secure that. And it says, for the commandment is a lamp, and the whole teaching of the law. That's God's law. So Governor Newsom is making laws, and he's lying, saying that they line up with the scriptures. And he's putting billboards across the nation. And it was, 7 different states or 12 different, 11 different states? I think it was something like, it was between 7 and 11 different states, where he's putting that God teaches that it's okay to get mutilized. Yeah. It's okay to be homosexual, and that's not with God. Now, everyone has their personal choice. We're not about taking freedom from people's choice, but when you make it law, that's where we have the problem. Mm-hmm. And since this law has come into place, since the law of God in 1963 with the Bible and prayer was taken out of our schools, all the horrible, wicked things known to man have been happening in our schools. Yeah. The whole teaching of the law is light, and reproofs of discipline are the way of life. We got to get back to this, people. We got to get back to this. 100%. Right? And so, thank you for the support. Thank you for joining us again. Thank you for share. Please share the links. Please share the studentstayhome.com. Please share the date of demanding change. And, you guys that have a lot of followers, please put this up on your shows. Please broadcast this unity movement so that our children can be saved, right? So God bless everyone. Thank you for tuning in. Please donate. We're trying to get land. We're trying to build schools. And
I'll say we're also Student Stay Home at Student Stay Home on Instagram.
Okay. You can follow us as Students at Student Stay Home.
At Student Stay Home, yeah.
Okay, on Instagram. And you'll see us on there as well. So thank you for the support. Thank you for the standing with us, the unifying, the action that's being taken. Momentum is building. We're trying to get this going across the whole nation, not just California. Yeah. So anyways, be blessed, and we will see you on the next episode of The Truth Unspoken.